Thank you, Connor. Good morning. This is a convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. Today is June 25th, 2026. It's approximately 10:04 a.m. I'm Jordan Maynard. I serve as chair. It's meeting number 591. We're hosting this meeting virtually, so we have a roll call. Good morning, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Skinner.
Good morning.
And good morning, Commissioner Broder.
Good morning. Good to be here.
All right. Well, today we are going to kick it over to Chief Terry Parisi. We are going to do some updates from our operators. And so with that, good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Compliance and Operations Manager Lamb is going to walk us through today's agenda, so I will turn it over to him. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Today we will have the 7 Category 3 operators presenting on the first triannual reports of this year. We'll jump right into it. If you turn to page 5 of your packet, you'll be able to see Bally's presentation. And Kim, I'll hand it over to you and your team for your presentation.
Thank you, Tom. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see the presentation?
We are.
You can see it.
Thank you. Hello again, Chair Maynard and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present our first triannual report to you today. I'm Kim McAllister, Director of Compliance for Bally's Interactive. Today we have presenting George Flores, our Director of Regulatory Reporting, Frank Mosconi, Vice President of Operations, David Souza, our Responsible Gaming Manager, and Tracy Wiley, our Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'm going to start our first slide, which is our revenue slide, and turn it over to George.
Yes, hello. Revenue for the period was $2,844,053, and taxes collected were $568,811. Please let me know if you have any questions.
No, I will move on to Frank Mosconi, who will be discussing slides 2 through 5.
Thank you, Kim, and good morning, Commission. Firstly, we'll begin with the underage reporting metrics. As a call out, as always, our website has measures in place to not allow underage accounts to be even attempted for creation. So we once again, in line with that, we see no attempted, no successful, and or no suspected underage individuals for the period. We can continue, Kim. Thank you. Responsible gaming voluntary self-exclusion closures from the BallyBet website remained essentially level throughout the period, in between the 12 and 21 per month. Thank you. The key call out on this slide is that although most of the wager and timeout trend is in line / stagnant, we had seen considerable deposit and spend limit usage growth. This will be evidenced by the fact that later on we'll see that actives have somewhat remained stagnant as well, meaning that more of our player user base is using deposit and spend control limits on their account, which we have pushed ourselves for the players to use. And here are the monthly active users. You can see basically, as I said, we hit kind of like a hill bell curve and into the summer lull, starting just 50 user difference between October 2025 and April 2026. So the main call out here is, if you reference the last slide as well, you don't need to go back, Kim, but considerable increase in the percentage of active users is utilizing deposits and spend limits on the BallyBet platform. And continue.
That was it for you, Frank. Do we have any questions on Frank's presentation?
Commissioners, questions? I'll remind everyone that because of the setup and with the presentation, you'll have to flag your questions and don't be shy to break in.
Thank you, Chair Maynard. Slide 6, we are going to have the monthly total handles presented by George Flores again.
Yes, for the period, taxes were 1.6 of total handle. Let me know if you have any questions.
Great. Next, this slide 7 is a new slide for us. It's regarding our newly implemented technologies, partnerships, integrations, and or significant platform changes. And we have no new items to disclose for this period. And next, I'm going to go to our responsible gaming and hand this over to David Sousa.
Excellent.
David?
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Chairman Jordan, members of the commission, appreciate the opportunity today to present to you a couple of slides here. Our Problem Gambling Awareness Month, which obviously was in March, was very successful. We're really happy with the curriculum, so to speak, that we put together for not only interactive, but also all of our brick and mortar properties. We had a couple of live webinars that featured Bobby Scales and Greg Weber. Bobby Scales was a former professional baseball player that was able to share his experience with gambling. And Greg Weber was a professional poker player. And both were really good. They hit home. We had over 300 people throughout the portfolio that actually tuned in live, and then we had the actual presentations on a loop so that people could actually catch the webinars on when they were simply in on the break room or whatnot. So very good feedback. The surveys that we collected at the end was very positive, very engaging from the staff. But in addition to the webinars, we did a lot of advertising and marketing throughout the properties, posters, advertisements. We had some fun internally with some RG quizzes. So I think overall we're really happy with the product that was turned out for PGAM for the month of March. So any questions with regards to PGAM? Thank you. Kim, could you go to the next slide? All right, and so what we did with this one, we went ahead and we created 5 pillars that we thought were really important to our responsible gaming committee, and through the help of Frank's interactive team, Corey and Kim, who sits on the board of our committee as well, we were able to zero in on the 5 pillars, which were environmental, social governance, responsible gaming operations, compliance, customer training, and employee training. And we felt that those were 5 very important areas that we had to make sure that we were not only paying close attention to, but we were actively discussing, different things and opportunities to enhance those areas to make sure that truly our responsible gaming is as robust as it can be for their intended clients. So again, that's those were the 2 slides on the responsible gaming side. Any questions?
Right.
Thank
Thank you, David. Next, we're going to move on to Tracy Wiley to discuss our charity and community outreach. Tracy?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to share a little bit more about our community engagement going forward. Community engagement is one of our central pillars of our ESG and responsible gaming strategy. And so in Rhode Island, where Bally's has really deep roots, we prioritize some partnerships with organizations specifically around supplier diversity, as well as some of our nonprofit organizations. And so as you'll see here, we've had an opportunity to participate with organizations nationally and locally to support our supplier diversity initiatives. And so what you'll see here is that we have taken on some opportunities to partner with the National Minority Supplier Development Council in their exchange conference in the fourth quarter of 2025. And then at the close of last year, we also joined as a member and annual sponsor of the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council, which now is named the New England Business Growth Collective. And so we're participating in these forums to help us connect more closely with small and diverse suppliers across the region, not just in Rhode Island, but certainly in Connecticut and Mass as well, creating some pathways into the gaming industry and supply chain where they may not have had an opportunity before. And we recognize that while our online model in Massachusetts limits some traditional procurement opportunities tied to a physical location, our goal is to move forward and to strengthen those connections with Massachusetts diverse businesses through these networks and expand our participation as the opportunities grow. So if there are any questions, next slide. And so one of the other things that I mentioned earlier that ties really closely with our ESG commitments is also during the fourth quarter of 2025, we determined that many of the nonprofits in the region really rely heavily on federal and state funding. So we took an opportunity to help bridge some of those funding gaps through both direct contributions and collaborative initiatives. Some of those organizations we supported were organizations like the Women's Fund of Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Higher Ground International, and Rhode Island Black Business Association. A lot of these groups focus on economic opportunity, leadership development, and support for immigrant and under-resourced communities. And so what we hope is that we'll be able to continue these types of things in Massachusetts and focus on expanding those partnerships in the Commonwealth, within the Commonwealth, particularly those organizations, again, that support workforce readiness and responsible gaming education. We're not looking to necessarily replicate the Rhode Island programs, but we are looking to build those relationships that are locally relevant and responsive to Massachusetts communities. So next slide. So one of the last items in the first quarter of this year is that, we were really excited to receive this award that expresses the commitment to diversity and inclusion. It's been recognized externally a few times this year. So at the beginning of this year, organization called Leadership in Diversity and Inclusion, the Diversity and Inclusion Professionals of Rhode Island presented this award to our president of the Rhode Island operation and expressed just the work that we're doing across the region. And so for us, this award is a benchmark that reflects the systems and the commitments that we continue to apply as we enter new markets. So I hope that we'll take these awards and this work that we're doing here to focus on translating these lessons and partnerships that we built in Rhode Island to the work we'll do collaboratively, hopefully with MGC regulators and our industry partners to really be able to strengthen our inclusion efforts across the sports wagering industry. So we're committed to continuing to build those relationships over time. Any questions?
Thank you, Tracy. If we don't have any further questions from the commission, we'd like to thank you again for allowing us to present to you today.
Thank you, Kim. Commissioners, any final thoughts, any questions? I know that we all appreciate Bally's time and everyone who's presented to us today. Can we take that down, whoever's running it? I think it's Kim. I can see everybody. All right. Well, if there are no questions for Bally's, thank you again for coming. We appreciate it. And we hope that this new schedule is working for you and it works for everyone else. So look forward to seeing you at the next one. And we'll see each other in between.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
All right.
Thanks, Bally's.
Back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Chair. And if you turn to page 19 of your packet, you will see the presentation for the next presenters, which will be BetMGM, Sarah Brennan, and her team will be presenting on behalf of BetMGM. I'll kick it over to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. No pressure on Rich Taylor today, but I'm Sarah Brennan, by the way, Vice President of Compliance for BetMGM. No pressure on Rich Taylor, but he is carrying the majority of the presentation today as we've got some folks out of office. And I'm headed to my fourth grader's elementary graduation. So big day for my household. We'll kick it off. Rich Edgy is on. He'll present. Yes, Rich, first try. Good job. Now just put it in presentation mode. There we go. This is the first for us. Okay, you can go ahead to the revenue slides. For the first period of 26, we had just over 117,000 unique players. Handle was at just over 207 million. Revenue was just over 20 million, and we paid just over 4 million in taxes. This is my short and sweet section of the presentation, and I will hand it over to Rich Taylor, Director of Responsible Gambling.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. Let me first start by saying that I hope you're recovering from the beer shortage that the Scots have left, I guess I should say New Scotland area in. I saw the videos on social. Tremendous job hosting the World Cup, and I just wanted to commend you all from one host city in Las Vegas, although we don't have a World Cup event. We do host a lot of big events, to another. So very awesome to see all the great content coming out of New England. All right, moving into our first slide here. Today, we'll talk about the prohibited patrons and attempted access. During the reporting period there in 26, period 1, we had 7 attempted registrations, 25 suspected use, and 9 confirmed use. I'll pause here if there are any questions. I have my colleague from Suspicious Activities to answer if there are any questions.
Questions, Commissioners?
All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next section of our presentation, which is my favorite, of course, responsible gambling. So next slide, Rich. A really positive trend we're noticing with our responsible gambling tools, specifically the deposit limits. We've cracked the 5% of our users are now using deposit limits. This is an area that I know we've talked about in the past, going back several presentations. And we've made a concerted effort here to promote these tools to our players through our Markers of Protection program, through our emails, and through some other content, which I'll talk about as we talk about the next section of this presentation. So it is very encouraging to see that the trend continues in a positive direction. And as we learn more about why players are using tools, through research that we're helping to fund through ROGA and others, we're hoping to continue to see this trend grow and increase as we want as many players as possible using our responsible gambling tools. So we're very excited about this, and this is something that I think is very encouraging for us and hopefully for the rest of the industry. I noticed Bally's numbers were also in an uptick as well, so very cool to see. Next slide. Timeouts remained relatively steady over the quarters, so you'll see that our players for the last 3 quarters have been averaging about 90 or so days using a timeout. Again, this is another positive tool. You know, some players do need to take those breaks while they're not ready to take a self-exclusion. Even a moderate break can help them regain control and put them in a better place where they can either make a decision to continue to wager, hopefully at a more sustainable level, or if they need to, they can reach out and enroll in self-exclusion either on our platform or get information to register for self-exclusion through the Gaming Commission there in Mass. So some relatively stable numbers on this front. So very exciting for us. In 2024, we debuted our first high production responsible gambling commercial featuring our ambassador, Connor McDavid, who is a player for the Edmonton Oilers. It's been very successful, well received, and we've noticed across all of our jurisdictions, including Massachusetts, that increase in tool usage, which was the key message for that commercial. So in December of 2025, we released our newest responsible gambling commercial featuring Connor McDavid. This one is called Mullet Over, and it's a play on words. In the hockey community, mullets are a very big deal. They like to call it lettuce, flow, other names for their hair. And so, the bigger the mullet, the more, I don't know, swag, I guess. I don't know if that word is still in favor, but it's a big deal in the hockey community. But also, it's a good play on words because, we want our players to think critically before they decide to place a bet on BetMGM. So we want them to mull it over before they put their money in our platform and wager with us. So using that play on words and that hockey imagery, we created a really fun and interesting commercial that we've been playing across all of our jurisdictions. And you'll see there on local Massachusetts airwaves, we recorded over 1.4 million impressions thus far. And so this is an area that BetMGM is very invested in. I was actually able to participate as an on-set consultant, if you will, and was there to help guide the filming of the commercial to ensure that we're using the proper terminology and that hopefully the message was developed and lands with our audience. And so we're very proud of this. If you haven't seen this ad yet, please let me know. I will send you a link to it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The one thing that I like to highlight about our commercials is they're not created in a vacuum with just a bunch of marketing people. We actually rely on our consultants, Epic Global Solutions, to provide a lived experience perspective. And so they helped to review our concepts as well as the actual commercial itself and give us feedback to make sure that this commercial would resonate with the audience that we want it to resonate with, which is those who are actually going to place a bet and wager, so that hopefully they understand that they should be thinking critically, using our responsible gambling tools, using our game sense information within our platform, and betting responsibly. Next slide. During this time period was Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and similar to Bally's, we had an array of activations and engagements with both our players, our staff, and the general public. We were very proud to have Epic Global Solutions come back and provide 2 lived experience sessions to all of our employees. This provides valuable insight and perspective into what it means to be somebody who is suffering with a gambling problem or gambling addiction. We want to make sure that our employees understand the human toll of that so that they can conduct themselves accordingly and make sure that we're providing the safest experience and platform possible. We also highlighted Gambling Disorder Screening Day, which is a campaign that originates with the Cambridge Health Alliance. They're at the Harvard Medical School. And so during that day, we highlighted it via social media posts as well as outreach to our players. All of this centered around providing resources for problem gambling. And so our Massachusetts players would receive links and information, not only to our resources, but to the resources that are available there in the Commonwealth, such as the Voluntary Self-Exclusion Program, as well as the helpline number, so that they could get local help if they so needed it. Next slide. In addition to that, employee training remains a focal point of BetMGM's outreach to our employees. And so in addition to the regular ongoing training that employees must complete on an annual basis, we also are meeting with our VIP team members on a quarterly basis to provide more real-time refresher trainings with a population that we think is very important, and that's our VIP hosts. So on December 3rd and on March 4th, we hosted them and went over the importance of conducting themselves and making sure that they are providing their players with the best service possible and escalating and flagging any concerns or issues that they're observing through their relationships with these players. So it's a very important part of our overall program. And so where we have our most interactions, we want to ensure that we're having our most in-depth training as well. Next slide. So as part of our ROGA membership, the Responsible Online Gaming Association, we've begun to offer a bet blocker. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with bet blocker, what it is, it's an application that you can install on both your mobile device as well as on your desktop PC. And bet blocker allows people to actually block access to the applications and websites that provide gambling themselves. So in addition to the Kindbridge resources that we provide, the links to the voluntary self-exclusion program we provide, the Massachusetts Problem Gambling Helpline that we provide, we're also providing a link to BetBlocker so that those who are interested in removing the ability to even download a sports betting platform onto their device, they can download BetBlocker for free and sign up, and this will prevent them from putting those applications on their device, which is another additional layer to the overall problem gambling safety net. So we're very proud of the work that we're doing with Roga, and we're very proud that we're able to offer services like this through that membership.
Rich, I'm going to stop you just to say that the Massachusetts Gaming Commission is also promoting BetBlocker. So that's a relationship that we're well familiar with, and we'll double click on your observation of how it works, and that it's a great tool for anyone that needs it.
I love that. Massachusetts Gaming Commission leading the way in RG as always. So appreciate that effort as well, Mr. Chair. Next slide. All right, so every 3 years, BetMGM undergoes what's called the Responsible Gambling Council's RG Check accreditation. This is often seen as the gold standard in responsible gambling program certification and accreditation. It's a very rigorous and comprehensive process where we have to submit all of our policies, all of our procedures. There's an in-depth review of our platform as well as our training and all of our other resources that we're providing both to our players as well as our employees. And they conduct interviews with some of our staff, our leadership, and some surveys with our players as well. It is a huge lift. It takes several weeks for us to put all of this together and to submit it to the RGC for their review and certification. Very proud that we were able to recertify or re-accredit ourselves. And we received that earlier this year. So this is a great program for any operator to understand not only where they're meeting the goals of their responsible gambling program, but where some improvements are needed. And so we're going to take those learnings over the coming years and use that to help improve the way we operate and to make sure that we're always pushing the envelope when it comes to responsible gambling and doing our best to innovate in this area. Some community and stakeholder outreach. Myself and my counterpart at MGM Resorts, our parent company, have been hitting the road and attending several local state council on problem gambling conferences. It's always good for us to hear from the boots on the ground, especially those who are in the treatment community, what they're facing and what they're seeing. One of the questions that I like to ask is, what type of patients are you seeing? What are the trends? What are you noticing? And is there anything that we can do as an operator to help facilitate a connection with those players who we're closing and hopefully getting them into treatment and into care. So it's a great experience for us to be in those settings and in those communities. Recently in May, I know several of the Mass Gaming Commission, I got to see Tom in person, which was great. Attended the UNLV conference in Las Vegas here. Another great conference where a lot of learning and education occurs. And that really helps us take that information and figure out what's going on in the broader scope, and then bring those learnings to our organization so that we can make improvements and ensure that we're applying those best practices that are being learned elsewhere. Next slide. That concludes responsible gambling. Before I move into the community outreach section, are there any questions?
Nope.
Excellent. All right. Community outreach and charitable impacts. I'm going to do my best to represent Jasmine's area, but she's been doing a lot of work in this area. I know that for sure because I'm the chair of the Bet on Vets group, and we have a lot of touch base, and she's always pushing me to do more to help support our veteran employees. All of our groups have been meeting on a regular basis. Usually we meet on a monthly cadence, and this provides us with an environment, a safe environment where we can talk about our experiences and also, importantly, learn about the experiences of others. I like to attend the other ERGs, not just the Bet on Vets, so that I can learn about, what their experiences are like and be a good ally to them. Next slide. In addition to our monthly meetings where we catch up and just support each other, we're also supporting our community. And ERGs are a great vehicle for that. So throughout the fourth quarter of 2025, during the holiday season, we were participating in the communities where we live to provide gift drives and turkey drives, and just making sure that, we're giving back to the communities where we operate and supporting them in the areas of highest need. So very proud of the work that we're doing. Wherever you're located as a BetMGM employee, there's an opportunity for you to give back. And so in Jersey, in the DMV area, in Las Vegas, where we're highly concentrated, we're reaching out and we're providing services to the community and showing them that we care. Next slide. And also some fun events occur. The poker, I wasn't at the Women at BetMGM ERG poker event, but it was a really cool way for poker and leadership skills to come together and to learn skills about listening and negotiation, as well as strategic thinking that comes with poker. So tying those two things together, I think is really relevant for anyone in the gaming industry. And I thought and Sarah, I don't know if you attended that one, but I heard about it and thought that was a really cool way to bridge the two worlds together of leadership development and of gaming. And some other events that occurred in New York there, attending some Broadway shows and bringing our employees together outside of the work setting to really boost camaraderie and community amongst our employees. It's really important to us at BetMGM. We want to be an employer that employees look forward to working for and want to contribute to, and really be a part of an overall community here at BetMGM. And then finally, some more outreach that we conducted, including some care packages that were put together for soldiers serving overseas. Obviously, over the past 6 months, the world has changed pretty dramatically. As somebody who was in those shoes, although 20 years ago now, which is hard to believe for me, I can tell you the men and women on the ground in those hot areas definitely appreciate those care packages and the items that are being sent to them. So a little reminder of home and a little reminder of what they've left behind while they're doing service for our country. And so for us at BetMGM, we're very proud to put together some care packages to send to them, to let them know how much they mean to us and how much we appreciate their service and what they're doing on our behalf. Next slide. All right, I just want to close by saying, it dawns on me as an industry, I'm really proud of the work that we do in this area, not only in meeting the requirements and the rules with all of our state regulators, but the work that we're doing in the community, going above and beyond. I know there are other entities that are offering a very similar experience to what we offer who don't do any of this stuff. And so I just want to say on behalf of BetMGM, how proud we are to work with you at the Mass Gaming Commission and all of our state regulators as well to comply with your rules and also hopefully provide some positives in communities where we operate. So thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Sarah, I hope you enjoyed the 4th grade graduation. I've never advanced past my 4th grade education, so it's a big one.
And look at you now. Done so well.
Commissioners, questions for Sarah, Rich, the rest of the team? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks all.
much.
Congratulations, Sarah. All right. Tom, I believe we're heading back to you.
We are, and if you turn to page 39 of your packet, you will find the presentations for the next presenters, which will be Caesars. And the Caesars team is online. I will turn it over to you for your presentation.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, commissioners. Quick check. Can you guys see my screen?
We're not seeing the screen. We can hear you perfectly.
Anything now?
Nothing. No, nothing right now. I'll give you a second here.
Sorry, I think I understand the problem. My IT team picked a fine time to ask for a system verification here. So give me 1 second while I pass this protocol.
That's normally how it goes. There's always a lot of pressure in that moment when you can't get it to work. Probably the most stressful minute or two of your life, having been on the other end of it. So don't stress too much.
Curtis, would you like for me to share my screen?
Yeah, we're going to try and do a pivot here. Greg, can you pull it up?
You bet. All right. Can you all see that?
All right.
We have it.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And again, sorry about that delay there. Good morning, commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to present our first triannual report today. Next slide, Greg. Starting off with revenue. For revenue, this is the first time we're showcasing the time frame from October to April collectively, which is certainly a unique one to look at, but in some, revenue is steady. NFL, NBA, and NHL made primary contributions to the revenue in that period. But again, we believe revenue performance is fairly balanced between months. And also not shown in this slide, we did show a significant increase in revenue compared to the same snapshot before October 2024 through April 2025. So overall, again, we've had great momentum going for us for sure. And we look forward to keeping that going heading into the second triennial. Next slide there. Great. Okay. Moving on to unique players. As presented on this slide, we have a monthly number of users utilizing our platform within a time period. And similar to the previous slide, as we get more experience with these triennial presentations, we could show perhaps a comparison between the two periods and address any noteworthy increases or decreases in the number of users, if that's something the commission would be interested in seeing. But let us know there for next time. Nonetheless, are there any questions on this slide?
Hearing none.
If not, next slide, Greg, and I'll turn it over to Lisa for new Caesars initiatives.
And I think our final slide did not have all of these bullet points because a lot of it was just technical items that we had done in the last trimester. So really our major item we wanted to call out was the cessation of accepting credit card deposits. We did do this nationwide. I know this was not accepted in Massachusetts from the get-go, but we decided to do that across all of our jurisdictions where we operate as of April 14th, 2026. And Greg, that's all I have for this one.
Okay, Greg.
All right. I will go at this point to talk about our community impact. So I'll walk through how Caesars operates and creates meaningful impact on the communities for where we operate. Everything we do is grounded in creating meaningful impact to those communities. So in highlighting our impact, our social impact strategy centers around three key pillars, and that is social inclusion and education, climate change and security, and responsible play and mental health. And so across all three that you see here, across all three areas, the focus is consistent. We're supporting vulnerable populations, expanding access to opportunity, and strengthening community well-being. And to highlight, in 2025, that commitment was translated into real impact with 3.6 million in Caesars Foundation grants, 2.6 million raised through Caesars Makes Change, which is our guest donation program, and then more than 78,000 volunteer hours from our hero team members, which is valued at 2.7 million. And then there is an additional 1.9 million in in-kind giving, and then another 77 million in mandated and discretionary giving. Caesars had more than 87 million in total community investment for 2025. Let's see, let's go to the next page or next slide here. So the Caesars Foundation grants support many national organizations, which you'll see here on the right. I always like to highlight two of ours. Two of the organizations, the Boys and Girls Club of America and Meals on Wheels, which provide social inclusion, education, mental health resources, food security, and some of the other organizations you see here focus on environmental and climate programs. Since 2002, the foundation has contributed more than 80 million to nonprofit organizations supporting both local initiatives and national partners that align to our impact areas. So in 2025 alone, we distributed more than 3.6 million in grants. So our national partners, which you see here, are a critical part of the strategy. They focus on issues like youth development, hunger relief, mental health, and economic opportunity. While their reach is national, their impact is local, including in Massachusetts. So many of these organizations have active programs and chapters across state supporting families, providing meals, expanding education access, and delivering critical services to these populations. As an example, as I highlighted, for those that aren't aware, Boys and Girls Club of America provide after school and workforce readiness programs across the country, as well as Meals on Wheels that I mentioned delivers essential nutrition and social connection to seniors. So all of these collectively help us scale impact while still meeting the specific needs of the communities where we have operations. So let's go to the next slide just to kind of highlight some of that work. This slide really brings our foundation impact to life. So you'll see through these images examples of the work happening on the ground, supporting the youth programs, advancing education, promoting environmental sustainability, and strengthening community connections. So rather than focusing on just one activity, what's important here is the breadth of that impact, the children investing in local communities, the environmental actions, as well as engaging people directly through hands-on initiatives. So pretty vivid examples here. All right. Caesars Makes Change, which we like to report to you all usually at the end of each year, or after the conclusion of each year. One of the most engaging and scalable programs is our Caesars Makes Change, and this program gives our guests a simple way to contribute by donating change from slot ticket redemptions directly to nonprofit organizations. So what started as a pilot in 2021 has now expanded across our properties nationwide, and each property supports both national and local charities of their choice, ensuring that the impact is felt both broadly and in the communities, within their communities. Our national partners, including organizations like I mentioned, Boys and Girls Club of America and Meals on Wheels, address the critical issues, and the community organizations have a hyper-local impact. In 2025 alone, our guests donated over 2.6 million through this program. All right, this is an amazing program that we have here. Our Hero Volunteer Program is at the heart of how we engage our team members in the community. So Hero is more than just a volunteer initiative. It's a core part of our culture. It empowers our employees to give back in ways that are meaningful to them and impactful to their communities. So in 2025, as I mentioned at the beginning, our hero volunteer hour or hero volunteers rather contribute more than 28 or 78,000 hours of service. And these efforts span a wide range of activities from food distribution, environmental projects to mentoring, community impact, and direct services to those in need. So our team members are supporting organizations and causes in the same communities where they live, which is really creating the strong connections between them and their surroundings. So here are some of the highlights that we would like to share to bring it to life. These are some of the examples of the hero activities. Across our markets, we saw expanded participation and deeper community engagement, increasing the number of people that were served. And then large-scale service days expanded to multiple locations, increasing reach and accessibility. And then high-impact volunteer events delivered meals, supported veterans, and strengthened community infrastructure. Ongoing partnerships like food pantries and youth programs that provide consistent, reliable support to families in need. And I think that's the middle image that you see there. But these are just examples that demonstrate not just one-time engagement, but sustained commitment. Let's see. I think that is all that I have to present on. And before I pass it on, are there any questions to that?
Hey, Greg, quick question. So you guys do a ton of stuff across the country, and it shows in the kind of, it seems a little bit decentralized, and I mean that in a good way. So you can have the impact where you perceive the impact to be the greatest, or the need to be the greatest. Do you know if you do anything or any of those efforts involve folks that are impacted or are criminal justice involved? By that I mean folks that might be re-entering the workforce in terms of job training, or maybe at-risk youth that programs. I know that that's a big part of the some Boys and Girl Scouts agendas. I was wondering if you have any more info on that particular.
I don't right offhand. First of all, I like where you're going with that because those programs are amazing. I may have to get back with you on that to research some more of the community organizations, as I mentioned in the Caesars Makes Change and stuff. So if we're supporting organizations on a local basis, I could probably find that out and get back to you or report out on the next one. And if not, I'm glad you brought that up because that gives me something to explore and see if there's something there that we can work on. But I don't have anything specific to reference.
Sure, at your convenience, if you can get us that stuff, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you, Commissioner Broder.
Excellent. I'll pick it up from here. For play management reporting, here's our October 25 to April 2026 breakdown of the top used RG limitations. So on this slide, a few things. The number of accounts registered in RG programs, this remained fairly balanced. A similar story too for cool off and deposit limitation. Overall, the response and usage by our patrons are fairly consistent. On the number of clicks side, as you can see, January took a significant jump. A reason being, before January, we were capturing players that just clicked on the RG from their account menu. However, we've come to realize that there are other ways that to get to the RG menu, for instance, clicking on the RG logo that's present throughout the app as the patron moves around. So we began including those in the count as well. Nonetheless, we continue to see consistent usage of the tools by patrons on our platform. And as always, we'll continue to provide the commission with more insight on any usage or trends that we're seeing for RG tools throughout the year. Any questions?
Questions, commissioners?
Oops.
Hearing none.
Next slide. Okay. Turning to responsible gaming, some numbers showing voluntary exclusions entered into the Caesars RG application. To recap on this slide, Q4 2024, there were 85 entered, compared to Q4 2025 at 117. This is a roughly 37%, 38% increase year over year. In comparison between periods, January to April, we entered 131 in 2025 and 181 in 2026, which is 38% roughly increase year over year. Next slide, Greg. On the responsible gaming front, employee training was conducted in October 2025 with RG Ambassador training taking place in December 2025. One highlight on training is that 44,174 team members completed the RG annual training refresher, which resulted in 14,725 hours of training. Of course, the time our employees spend on training is important, as we're often in the best position to recognize signs of any sort of gambling related distress. So again, we're very pleased that our team is putting in the hours to be informed and working to help teach others to the aspects of responsible gaming. Additionally, responsible gaming partnerships are important as they help balance entertainment for our patrons with efforts to reduce gambling-related harm. So from October to April, our partnerships often involved, as you can see, fellow casinos, treatment providers, nonprofit organizations, community stakeholders, all of us working toward the same common goal. On this slide here, some highlights include our El Dorado Scioto Downs partnership with the Problem Gaming Network of Ohio, Caesars Virginia partnership with the Southern Virginia Problem Gambling Coalition, Council Bluffs team's partnership with the Heartland Treatment Center. Next slide, Greg. A few other sponsorships to highlight here. The annual conference on gambling and addiction. But lastly, did note a few RG contributions Caesars has made throughout the period. We donated $10,000 to the Massachusetts Council of Gaming and Health. We also donated $5,000 to the Choices Treatment Center in Nebraska, as well as the Foundation's Grant Award to the ICRG for $150,000. So to finish here for RG, we look forward to continue building upon our existing RG partnerships with our community industry colleagues and look forward to highlighting our efforts with the commission for many more quarters to come. Any questions here? Next slide, Greg. For prohibited player monitoring, in some, we had 30 accounts from October to April that were flagged by the system, which resulted in a detailed investigation. And upon review, all accounts were closed as a result of suspecting an underage person was controlling the account. Any questions there? Okay, if not, next slide, Greg. I believe that is it. Yes. With that, that concludes our presentation. And as always, feel free to reach out to us here at Caesars if you have any additional questions.
Okay, we can take that screen down if you don't mind, Greg. Commissioners, any final questions or thoughts? We're glad that we got that presentation up and going. But I promise you, if it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody. And there will be another if you stay on long enough. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you around in our normal course of business and, of course, at the next update.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, commissioners.
All right. And by the way, commissioners, feel free to stop me if we need a break, but I'm going to kick it back to Tom. I believe we have DraftKings coming up.
That's right. You can find their presentation beginning on page 55 of your packet. I am going to kick it over to Julie Hines, Jared Hess, as well as Curtis Saff from DraftKings for their presentation.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share screen here and hopefully not run into any issues. Are we able to see that? Great. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, commissioners, for the opportunity to share out our results here in the first of the triannual presentations. As I think other operators have noted, you know, it's a little change in format and time frame, so we'll do our best to make sure that we're hitting relevant points for the time period and also relate them to the broader impact throughout the year. Quick agenda for us to cover. Obviously, we're going to hit on business statistics, compliance reporting for underage specifically, some responsible gaming impacts and highlights, and then walk through a number of partnerships, platform updates, technology implementations, as well as community outreach and charitable impacts during the time period here. So nothing I would say super out of the ordinary to call out around our monthly statistics here for revenue or hold or our unique players. I think, you know, as is generally expected, there's seasonal impacts to the, you know, number of wagers, the way that fans are engaging with sports content across the board. Certainly saw a bump during the playoffs for NFL, as well as for the NCAA tournament and Super Bowl in particular through that February time period there. I think there were, you know, in Massachusetts in particular, obviously having the Patriots have a less than desired result in the Super Bowl, you know, resulted in higher hold for that month in particular. You know, on average, our revenue was around 44 million a month, which resulted in 8.6 million on average taxes per month. And average hold of 11% throughout the time period there, with a total of 474,000 unique players during this time period.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Hill.
So I'm curious, this is, I've seen in April, the numbers have gone up for everybody. What, am I missing something? What happened in April? I know March Madness, you already talked about the Super Bowl. Did I miss something in April? A big event?
I think we had the Masters in April. Some auto racing as well. I'm trying to think of what else.
The championship game would actually be in April, though. For March Madness, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for the hockey and basketball, the playoff. Okay. It's just interesting that month I saw everybody saw an increase in April. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No worries. No worries. And then getting into our underage reporting here, the one major call out I wanted to highlight for this group is that you'll see a somewhat drastic change in the reported numbers for underage registration attempts, not passing KYC for March and April. What we identified is that the way that we were pulling those metrics was not entirely accurate. We were pulling previously all customers that had a failure of a date of birth failure in association with their registration attempt, which isn't exactly in line with what we wanted to be providing here of specific failures for being underage. So if somebody fat fingered and typed the wrong date of birth that didn't align with their own, that would cause a failure, or leave it blank and accidentally click through quickly. That would result in a failure that previously would have been reported, and that's no longer the case. So we're getting just far more precise on the reported numbers there. And then as far as suspected underage account use and confirmed underage account use that we've mitigated, that's maintained relatively consistent throughout the time period. I think it is interesting to note that the increase in December, and it's something that we are mindful of and thinking about around potential, holiday timeframes and how that might impact how those who are underage find an opportunity to attempt to engage with online sports books, that sort of thing. So we're thinking about that and making sure that we're finding ways to get ahead of identifying that sort of activity. And with that, I will turn it over to Julie Hines.
Thank you, Curtis, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here for this new format. So first off, the self-exclusions limits and cool-off utilization of our Massachusetts customers in the period of October 2025 through April 2026. We saw a total of 200 VSEs processed through the Playwell self-exclusion program. As everyone here knows, that we do not offer platform self-exclusion in Massachusetts, so we refer everyone to the Playwell program for exclusions. As far as limits are concerned, we've kind of changed the way that we present this material so that hopefully it's a little bit more clear, even if the font's really slow, small. You'll be able to see this a little bit better in your packet. So with respect to the active limit usage, we refer to paid active users, those people who are active customers who set a limit any point during this period. And then we combine it with those who also had a paid action. And so we're counting people who are actually active on platform and not the total number of customers who just have a limit and maintain it idly. So with respect to the reporting period, we can see here on the green line shows you the overall percentage of customers who are setting limits. And we see just a continuing increase. I know my colleague and friend Rich from BetMGM pointed out the increase in utilization of limits with the BetMGM customers. We've seen an increased utilization of our customers as well, as we all continue to promote normalization of these tools and find different ways to make responsible gaming a fun thing and not look like it's like a problem. And so looking at these levels, we see that we now have a total of over 8% of our customers that are using our tools. This is in contrast to looking at things like 3, 4, 5% in past. And so we continue to see year over year increase in this. It's very, very promising, and we love to continue promoting these tools in new and different ways as well. Deposit limits are always the number one uptake. These are, weekly, daily, monthly deposit limits that individuals decide to set. And we continue to offer and iterate different types of tools as well for our customers, including my budget builder, which was just as a nice way to kind of have a one-stop shop for people not to just look at deposit limits, but also look at other forms of managing their activity. We have partnered most recently with eVive Digital Health. eVive gives resources that are engaging people where they're at. And so not everyone who chooses to seek resources wants to completely stop their gaming behavior. And so we'd like to offer individuals the path that makes the most sense to them. And so as a result of that, we have added an additional resource with eVive Digital Support. This gives individuals sort of a choose your own adventure method of managing their activity. So they can choose to decide that they want to make a harm reduction path, or maybe they decide that they want to stop entirely. It is a wonderful resource for our customers to meet them where they're at, because a lot of our customers, as you know, most of them are engaging online. And so the way that they like to also disengage can be online. And so eVive is another one of our tools in our toolkit that we added in October of last year. Gamalize is something that we added earlier this year. So Gamalize is it's a card-based game, and mainly what it does is to support informed choice of customers. What is your level of risk appetite, so to speak? And so what we've done is we've partnered with Mindway AI. We're not using AI as part of this. This is just the Gamalize game. You're invited to take it yourself to see what your appetites for risk are. What it does is it kind of tracks your sort of choices during this game. It's a 3-minute game, 80 cards that you flip and you see how you're doing over time. And then it gives you a self-report. So when a person takes this, they get a self-report of what their particular risk appetite choices are, as well as a report and suggestions for tools for informed choice to manage their behavior. We had an activation most recently, actually, at the NBA draft the other night in New Jersey, and it was great to see that there were a lot of folks, or excuse me, Brooklyn, and there were a lot of folks who were really engaged with the game. And so we continue to try to think about other activations, again, all in the spirit of normalizing responsible activity.
Julie, can I ask you a question about that? It's Commissioner Broder.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Broder.
Of course. So it looks like a really neat tool. Is it only available to customers, or is it something you can reach before you sign up for an account?
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Broder. That's an excellent question. And the answer is anyone can engage with it. All they need to do is visit the link there, rg.draftkings.com, which is our now renamed, which will be in the triennial presentation next time. It's called My Budget and Controls, formerly the Responsible Gaming Center. And anybody can engage with it. So you just click on that. You don't even need to go to the actual app, especially for those with lived experience. We don't want to feel like we're inviting people or triggering them. So they just go to that link. It engages directly to the product and then links to the Gamalize the game. In addition to that, there are other sites and Gamalize itself. You can take a demo on Mindway AI's platform, but we specifically partnered with them and are working to iterate even different types of games. So it is available to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner. So for Problem Gambling Awareness Month, we joined our colleagues in really heavily promoting this month. It's really important for us to make sure that people are aware that there are resources for support and help if they do have a problem with gambling. And so one of the key benchmark things that we really like to do, this is our 3rd year of partnering with Cambridge Health Alliance Division on Addiction, our great colleagues in our backyard here in the Boston area, to support the Gambling Disorder Screening Day. They are the institute that founded the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen. And the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen, for those unaware, it's a set of 3 questions, and it's a screening tool to determine whether or not someone might need further assessment for their gambling behavior. So we partner with them. We did, again, What's Brewing in Boston, the Garden, for one of the games where Cambridge had a table and they invited people to take the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen. We also leveraged the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen as the basis for our in-app real-time review tool. That's a separate item, but just wanted to highlight that the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen is something that we want our customers to take. We reached out to them via email on March 10th, which was screening day, and reached 151,000 Massachusetts customers. That is the example on the right there. That's the email that we sent to our oh, excuse me, that's not the example. That's the eVibe example. But we did send an email to our customers with the Brief Biosocial Gambling Screen. In addition to that, the eVibe example on the right, we really wanted to highlight the eVibe digital support for anyone who wishes to engage during Problem Gambling Awareness Month. It is something that we continually offer, but we wanted to highlight it specifically during Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Other things is, just making sure that we were spotlighting PGAM during the month via our social media accounts as well. And we renewed our State Council Fund, which is we've renewed it now. I think this is our 3rd year of the program. And Massachusetts Gambling, I used to work at Mass Council on compulsive gambling, so it's still trip up now and then. Massachusetts Council on Gaming and Health is a recipient.
All right. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll take over for walking through our technology partnerships and some platform updates briefly here. First thing we wanted to highlight is strengthening our partnership with the Greater Boston Sports Commission, in particular in support of the FIFA World Cup in 2026. I know I've watched with great delight the Tartan Army's impact in Boston in particular, and just the example that Boston has set, welcoming visitors to come and experience the World Cup. But we've created through that partnership, we've strengthened local visibility on the events, done some fan programming, provided some premium experiences and hospitality events, that sort of thing, and really worked with them to strengthen the hometown presence within Boston around the World Cup there. In the same vein, we've continued our partnership with the Celtics and the Red Sox. Obviously, some of the most iconic franchises in the Northeast and U.S. probably broadly, but certainly the Massachusetts area there. And finally, as far as partnerships go, partnering with ESPN Bet as the commission is, or ESPN, excuse me, as the commission is aware, we've got a partnership with ESPN that's going to allow for fan engagement on both ESPN and DraftKings, and support premium experiences that allow them to be able to have visibility on their favorite sport teams and engage with following teams across both ESPN and DraftKings in a more native way, without having to go hunting around on either platform for events that they might be interested in, those sorts of things.
Curtis, can I jump in with a quick question?
Sure.
You mentioned your partnership with the Red Sox. DraftKings is a very robust company with significant resources. Any thoughts of perhaps buying the team from the current ownership?
I'll run that up the flagpole.
Make it quick.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, I'm not your baseball expert, so I would have very little to no advice to offer anybody. Unfortunately, I stay in my lane in the hockey world there.
Understood.
We also have partnered, and I think this one is actually really interesting. We've also partnered with an emerging league, Unrivaled, which is a women's 3-on-3 basketball league that's operating in the WNBA offseason out of Miami. I think it's a really exciting engagement, and really continues the effort that DraftKings has put into developing stories around athletes and women's sports in particular. We've definitely put a ton of effort into expanding storytelling and engagement around women's sports, and I think this is another step towards that, and especially during the off season there of the regular WNBA. Also emerging league partnership with the UFL. Obviously, the UFL is not exactly emerging. It's been around for a while, but we've continued our integrated league partnership with them, and are working to engage fans who are interested in football entertainment outside of the NFL, which seems hard to believe, but super exciting that there's more opportunities for football year round. Finally, we've also got the PGA Tour Live Betcast that DraftKings has partnered with the PGA Tour on, providing interactive experiences and content for golf fans. Typically, PGA coverage has been dominated by the traditional networks, so finding opportunities to engage fans with content that might be relevant to them as pertains to wagering on golf. Similar to that, or within the same vein of expanding golf engagement, we've innovated within our app to offer same tournament parlays, similar to a same game parlay for other sporting events. Obviously, golf tournaments are multi-day affairs that fans are watching and engaging with, and a single wager might expire quickly or play out quickly and not be quite as engaging. So offering the opportunity for customers and players to engage through tournament-wide parlays has been met with a lot of excitement we've seen from customers on it, and has been kind of an innovation, I think, within this space. We've also rolled out our Spanish language product. Obviously, here in the United States, we've got quite a few Spanish speakers, and offering content for them, or offering an app experience in their native language. We're really excited to do that. Myself personally, I'm a former Air Force linguist, not Spanish, but really exciting to see the expansion of products via the language inclusion there. And any questions on any of those? All right, and with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Curtis. Good morning, commissioners. I'm glad to be here this morning and excited to share some of our community outreach and charitable impacts with you. So starting off, this will hopefully look familiar, but for 2025 and for 2026, we've continued our Tech for Heroes initiative in collaboration with Vets and Tech. So as a reminder, this is a training program for veterans to help them transition from active service into civilian life. We through Vets and Tech train veterans for this program in a variety of high demand tech skills. So anything from cybersecurity, web development, even AI. Since we started this program in 2018, we've donated over $3.5 million to this program to help empower veterans, support entrepreneurs. In addition to training for this year, we also participate in Vets and Tech employer meetups and share best practices, share career development and mentorship with veterans transitioning, and then also host local educational events for Vets and Tech, especially focused on veteran entrepreneurs. So continuing in the veteran space, we've continued our mentorship program through ACP. So DraftKings employees are matched with ACP proteges and complete one-on-one mentoring with proteges through ACP. So this is for active duty spouses and then veterans transitioning into civilian life, again, to support that transition. So our mentors support things like resume writing and development, job search support, career advancement, entrepreneurship, anything that's really needed. And they meet once a month with their veteran proteges for at least an hour. And we have dozens of DraftKings employees who are mentors through this program. We also work with an organization called Operation Gratitude, and this is to provide care packages, which include these paracord lanyards and personalized letters to veterans serving overseas and around the world. So for our immersion program, so every new DraftKings employee participates with a volunteer event tied to Operation Gratitude, where they put together these paracord lanyards and care packages. So every new DraftKings employee who participates in immersion goes through this. We're excited to do that with Operation Gratitude. We do that once a month in Boston. So going back to last year, in October, we continued and for the 7th consecutive year, ran our Pinkham campaign. And this is in collaboration with Larry Fitzgerald and the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation. The Larry Fitzgerald Foundation is focused on breast cancer support and awareness. And so the way this works is for the month of October, we run campaigns each week. So fans are able to go in and pick the games for that week. They enter for free, and then for every free entry, DraftKings matches a $1 donation to the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation. So for 2025, DraftKings donated $100,000 to the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation, meaning that since 2019, we've donated over $700,000 to the Larry Fitzgerald Foundation through the Pinkham program. We continued hosting volunteer tree planting events around the world in all of our offices, and that especially includes our office here in Boston. So in October, we actually hosted 2 events for our Boston employees, had 100 DraftKings employees come together to plant trees in collaboration with the Arbor Day Foundation and an organization called Tree Easty. So one event was at Constitution Beach, the other at the Boston Nature Center, and DraftKings employees came together to plant 115 very large trees. So several hours got together to add to the tree canopy, reduce pollution, and then especially at Constitution Beach to help with heat mitigation issues and the impact of noise and air pollution from Logan Airport. In 2025, DraftKings served as the presenting sponsor for the Cam Neely Foundation's Comics Come Home event. So I'm sure you may be familiar with this event, but it's one of the longest or the longest running comedy fundraisers in the country. So it brings together a tremendous amount of comedians and talent to raise money for the Cam Neely Foundation. Cam Neely Foundation supports cancer research and support and making sure people have access to care and families as they face a difficult process dealing with cancer and provide emotional support to facilitate the healing process. So DraftKings was proud to be the presenting sponsor in 2025. And DraftKings, once again, participates in Salute to Service each October and November. So we invite veterans who have gone through some of the programs that I discussed earlier, especially the Vets in Tech program, to participate in on-field celebrations and enjoy the games during the Salute to Service games through the NFL. So in 2025, we did that with a number of teams, including the New England Patriots, and had several graduates of the Vets in Tech program come and participate in pregame ceremonies and honoring their service before the game. And then once again in 2025 for the holidays, for every office, DraftKings allows employees to vote on a charity to support with a $10,000 donation in each office. So through this program, we've donated $300,000 across the world. For 2025, our Boston employees got together, nominated and selected the Boston Public Library to receive their donations. So we presented that check at our holiday party here in Boston in December. And then DraftKings also served as a sponsor and a participant in the Boston Bruins BeFit Challenge. So this is an event to raise money for organizations supporting military families and first responders throughout the Massachusetts region. So DraftKings sponsored participants from Vets in Tech and a number of other people to participate. This is a stair climb challenge, again, to raise money and raise support for veterans organizations in and around Boston and Massachusetts. And I think that's it. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioners, questions, comments for DraftKings? We appreciate it as always, and it looks like there are a lot of good program. There are a lot of good programs going on right now. I'll get there. And especially around the veterans, I noticed that piqued my interest. So thank you so much for coming and sharing, and we appreciate all of your time.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, just a 5-minute break if we could.
I was going to call for it if you didn't.
Thank you.
11:35. Thank you, Connor. This is a reconvening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. We're hosting this meeting virtually, so we have to do a roll call. Good morning again, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Skinner.
Good morning.
And good morning, Commissioner Broder.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to kick it back over to Tom, who I believe is going to introduce Fanatics.
Thank you, Chair. And that's correct. The next operator who will be presenting their first triannual presentation for 2026 will be Fanatics Betting and Gaming, where you can find their presentation on page 88 of your packet. I'll kick it over to Mike Levine and his team to begin their presentation.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate it. Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, and MGC staff. My name is Mike Levine, Senior Regulatory Counsel at Fanatics Betting and Gaming. With me today is Anthony D'Angelo, our Head of Responsible Gambling, and Elizabeth Lurs, a member of our state compliance team. With that said, I'm going to kick it off to Elizabeth, who will start our presentation.
All right. I am having the same system issue sharing. 1 second. Mike, did yours allow you to share?
I have to call Greg back from season. I haven't put it up.
I swear I tested this before the meeting.
How does that work?
Perfect. Yes. Thank you, Mike.
All right. In the driver's seat again. All right, Elizabeth, kick us off.
All right. Well, good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. It's very nice to be here with you today. Mike, if you just go a couple slides. All right. Well, we will just start with our sports wagering revenue in the Commonwealth for the period of October 2025 to April 2026. Our total revenue was approximately $44.4 million. And in the same period, we remitted approximately $8.2 million in taxes to the Commonwealth. And on the screen here are unique player accounts by month from October 2025 to April 2026. And with that, I will pass it off to Anthony to discuss our underage and responsible gaming metrics.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Good morning, good afternoon, Commissioners, Chair, MGC staff. Anthony D'Angelo, I have the responsible gaming team here at Fanatics. What you're looking at right here is our underage compliance slide. Throughout the reporting period, the triannual reporting period now from October to April 2026, we saw 124 underage registration attempts, 58 suspected underage use of accounts being, via our fraud mechanisms to detect proxy and those types of things, and then 5 individuals who were confirmed underage use of the account. Any questions on that? Otherwise, we can go to the next slide. Our VSE metrics for the reporting period are as follows. We had 135 total enrollees attempt or have their accounts suspended on our platform, attempt to create an account or have their accounts suspended on our platform via having an account already. Like I mentioned, all these customers, the accounts would have been suspended or suspended if they had an account or registration and unable to play and receive marketing. Okay, next slide, please. Here's a quick slide on RG tool usage, and I'll verbalize an effort that I'm super proud of. There was a slide or two that I had on that, but I think it got pulled, so I'll make sure I'll insist it gets added to the next presentation, but a new initiative that Fanatics stood up. But our RG tool usage went up fairly significantly with respect to our previous numbers. We saw about a 2% increase on deposit, spend, and wager limits just in March and April alone. Bringing our total percentages in those three just over 4% of our active users, which is awesome. The initiative that we kicked off, we did a pilot in Massachusetts. We also did it in Ohio as well, where 10,000 account holders in the state of Massachusetts were incentivized to set a limit for a week. It was actually the week leading up to the finals in March Madness. We targeted 10,000 individuals. The individuals would have had to never set a limit before on our platform. So we're trying to incite a behavioral change and reduce that stigma with those customers who've never engaged with a limit on our platform. And then we heavily prioritized individuals who are aged 25 and under, right? And what we did was throughout that 1 week targeting period, we sent the customers promotions, an email as well, basically offering a $5 fan cash reward for setting a limit, any limit, doesn't matter the limit amount or type, through that period. What we saw was pretty awesome, right? We had, of the 10,000 people targeted, 58% of them logged in. So, keep in mind that half of that percentage didn't even see the promotion during the time period. But of that 58%, or of the 58%, half of the people that saw the promotion took advantage of it, meaning that they set a limit and they received the $5 reward. 2 months later, we still see about 20% of those people, 20% total. So about 40% of the people that actually saw the promotion actually still have the limit set, which is really cool. Kind of promotes, or it kind of demonstrates that the durability of the limits, right? We're trying to break that stigma by offering these incentives. So it was an awesome total success, in my opinion. Very unique to Fanatics in that the fan cash can be spent not only on gaming, right? It's spent entirely in our ecosystem, so customers can use it for tickets. They can use it for merchandise. They can use it for trading cards, all things in the Fanatics ecosystem, like I mentioned. We actually launched this now nationally because it did do so well. So what you'll see in our next update will be a very comprehensive slide with running totals and everything. I think up to date so far, we've given away about $60,000 in fan cash across about 3 or 4 weeks worth of promotional period. So super excited to give you guys more updates on that. But also very excited, obviously, that customers who previously weren't using our tools are now using them and keeping them. Any question? I know there's nothing visual to see with that update, but is there any questions on that? I'm happy to answer or provide information as part of a follow-up.
No.
Not a question, just, I'm sorry, Chair.
No, you first, Commissioner Skinner. I bet we're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, not a question, just a comment. That's great. What a way to generate awareness about these RG tools. Very exciting, and looking forward. I know we're a ways off, but looking forward to the next triannual where you dig deeper into that for us, Anthony.
For sure. And I'll give you guys, obviously, the full run of show with respect to how much we've given away, but also the durability, like I said, of those limits. So as this continues, and our baseline goal, and just to be candid on the call here, our baseline goal is to have 10% of our active user base have a limit set at a minimum. Right. So we're going to run this promotion until it happens, and then we're going to basically, assess, obviously, continuing to do it. I think it's a great promotion. Our leadership loves it as well. So I don't see us taking this down. I think this is something that we're really proud of. So I look forward to giving that update to you, Commissioner Skinner.
Bravo.
That covered it for me.
I think that's it for me, Elizabeth, I believe.
All right. Yes, we will close out our presentation by highlighting Fanatics' continued partnership with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. As always, we're very proud to support Make-A-Wish in creating unforgettable sports experiences for Wish recipients and their families. Last month, we celebrated a big milestone that we've been working towards, where we granted our 1,000th wish, which is very exciting, and we hope to grant 1,000 more. During this reporting period, most notably, Fanatics teamed up with the Los Angeles Dodgers, where we gave a bunch of wish recipients the opportunity to go on the field, meet some of their favorite players, and get their gear signed. And then we also partnered with the Milwaukee Brewers to provide a wish recipient and their family a behind-the-scenes experience and opportunity to go on the field with the team before the game. So yes, Fanatics is looking forward to continuing to work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to create even more memorable experiences for recipients. And that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Good to see you as always. Look forward to seeing you again in the future. Tom, who do we have next?
Thank you all.
See you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Anthony. And the next presenters we have is Ben Roth and their team at FanDuel, where you can find their presentation on page 97 of your packet. I will kick it over to Ben to begin the presentation.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate all the coordination here today. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, and staff. I'm Ben Roth. I'm a director on our regulatory team here at FanDuel. And I'm here today with Felicia Gasson to discuss community impact and Cameron Zucker to discuss FanDuel's work on the RG side. And Ian Shampoo will be running our slides. So we'll hop into the agenda. Thanks, Ian. Can we advance, please? So folks, yeah. So the first slide is our revenue and total handle for the first triannual of this year. As you can see, 157 million in total revenue, about a little over 31 million paid to the Commonwealth in taxes. Margin over that period of time, a little over 11%. FanDuel's, pleased with our performance in the Commonwealth. We're continuing to drive. Any questions on this one?
No questions.
All right. So now moving into our underage numbers and our unique users is also on this slide, just to note. So on underage registration attempts, we totaled 80 during the period. And then in terms of suspected and confirmed underage cases, 420 in suspected, and then we had 71 total confirmed cases. Along with a little over 800,000 unique users during that time. And thanks, Ian. So we wanted to highlight one additional or one new technology, new product feature that FanDuel has rolled out. And this is our Ace AI betting assistant. And I wanted to, take a moment to explain sort of what this is and also to be clear about what it's not. Particularly, it's a functionality that will allow customers to access statistical data on, in order to research potential bets they might be interested in making. And so that's the first piece of it. The second piece is essentially generating potential wager opportunities or parlays based on the standard language that someone might prompt an AI tool with. So for example, can you suggest a parlay with Jason Tatum points and Jaylen Brown rebounds, something like that. And the functionality will surface potential bets that the user can then add to a bet slip to create a parlay. To be clear, this does not provide any bet guidance, recommendations, or advice, and the customer is responsible for actually populating the bet slip and placing the bet. So it's just an opportunity for the customer to engage a little more deeply with statistics, as well as have some suggested bets based on the type of wagers that they prompt the tool to suggest. So it's something we're pretty excited about. Just another way for folks to engage with the platform. Happy to answer any questions about this one.
No questions at this time for me, but obviously we are interested in AI, and I'm sure you'll get questions in the future about how it's working.
Yes, and happy to answer those as they come. So please feel free to reach out. I think with that, I'm going to pass it off to Felicia to discuss our community impact.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners, and staff. I'd like to, before I begin, I'd like to apologize. I'm a little hoarse today. I think that it will become more clear as to why later on in the presentation, but I'd like to spend a few minutes discussing FanDuel's community impact strategy and how we approach being responsible corporate citizens. We recognize that long-term success requires meaningful investment in the broader well-being of the communities that we serve. Our philosophy is that community impact should be intentional, locally relevant, and connected to the communities where we work, live, and operate. That's why our efforts are organized around 3 pillars: community first, everyone's game, and do more. Next slide, please. Community First is pillar focuses on our strengthening communities through strategic philanthropic oh my gosh, philanthropy and partnerships. Across FanDuel, we support organizations addressing food insecurity, veterans and military services, education, health and well-being, financial literacy, and disaster relief. In Massachusetts specifically, we've continued our partnership with Operation Hope to advance financial literacy initiatives and focused efforts in communities where we believe we can make the greatest impact, including Worcester and Springfield. We view financial literacy as a natural extension of our broader commitment to consumer well-being. Helping individuals build financial confidence and access educational resources creates stronger and more resilient communities. Everyone's Game pillar is focused on expanding access to sport and community experience that promote wellness, teamwork, inclusion, and pride. One program we're really pleased to support in Massachusetts is Community Rowing's Military Rowing Program, which offers veterans, active duty service members, reservists, National Guard members, military spouses, and Gold Star spouses the opportunity to participate at no cost. Our national commitment is especially evident this week, where I am cheering and have lost my voice at the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games. This has been a national effort. We have right now with us over 20 volunteers from our FanDuel team on the ground supporting athletes and volunteers. Our employees are volunteering throughout the Healthy Athletes Village, other game venues, helping welcome athletes, support programming, and creating memorable experience both during and outside their scheduled volunteer hours. So it's been incredibly inspiring to see more than 3,000 athletes from across the country, every jurisdiction. I cheered very loudly for Massachusetts, an amazing contingent. So we are thrilled to be supporting this effort. Our last pillar, Do More, is about empowering our employees to make a difference in the communities where they live and work. While FanDuel provides the framework and resources, it's our employees who really bring this program to life through hands-on volunteerism and local engagement. Rather than taking a one-size-fits-all approach, we encourage our teams to support organizations and causes that address the unique needs unique to their own communities. Over this past year, our employees have volunteered at food banks, meal packing events, assembled care packages, and supported organizations addressing homelessness and health and well-being. Let's see, next slide, please. This slide is just a small slice of our community impact in action. This is our bringing our strategy to life. We have FanDuel employees engaging in their communities across all of our offices and markets. So because we do have offices around the country, we also have remote employees that also engage wherever we work and live. We hope that this slide conveys that our community impact isn't centralized or limited to one initiative. It's embedded across our organization. Our employees are incredibly passionate about giving back, and we're proud to support opportunities that allow them to strengthen the communities where they live and work. Last of all, we really just want to emphasize that FanDuel views community impact as part of our responsibility, and we believe we have an obligation to contribute positively to communities where we serve. Thanks so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
It's a good reason to be hoarse. I'll add that.
Thank you.
Commissioners, questions for Felicia?
I'll hand it off to Kim.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Felicia. Good morning for 3 more minutes, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. For those I haven't met yet, my name is Cam Zuckert. I'm a Senior Manager on the Responsible Gaming team here at FanDuel. It's a pleasure to be here with you today, and I'll start with an overview of some metrics, including our self-exclusion and RG tool usage. We'll go into some more detail on the recent developments with our RG program, including some educational efforts and what we did for Problem Gambling Awareness Month in March. Starting with self-exclusion for an overview of our Q4 25 through April 26 metrics on voluntary self-exclusion and timeouts. We had 325 voluntary self-exclusions here. And just for the sake of clarifying, this is the number of true matches from the Massachusetts voluntary self-exclusion list. So the number of names from Mass state exclusion list that we receive that have FanDuel accounts. With regards to timeouts, which is the tool that allows users to take a break for anywhere from 3 to 365 days. Over this period, we saw 0.5% of Massachusetts users elect to take a timeout with a median length of 30 days. These rates are pretty consistent with what we've seen over the past few quarters, with a slight uptick that I think is probably attributed to our PGAM, Problem Gambling Awareness Month efforts to call attention to some of these resources for individuals who may need more of a break, and then general seasonality like the end of the NFL season. For general responsible gaming tool usage in Massachusetts, our most popular core tool, as always, is our global deposit limits, with 4.5% of active users using this limit in this period, which represents a slight increase from the 4.2% that we reported the last we had this meeting in Q3. I also do want to note, while it's not shown here on this slide specifically, we saw a really solid increase in deposit limit usage in April, with the figure going up to 5.7%. So I think that's the result of a lot of things, likely, the continued education we're doing around tools and what's available to our users, Problem Gambling Awareness Month as well, while, we try to separate the education around responsible gaming and the awareness on problem gambling. I think there's more attention being paid to responsible gaming tools and, best practices in that period as well. These other core RG tool usage rates have generally stayed consistent with past quarters too. We did see a pretty significant increase in my spend, specifically in views of my spend in comparison to the last set of metrics we provided with you all, largely due to some sweepstakes that we ran to promote use of my spend and some promotion on social media, which I'll discuss in more detail on a later slide. And just for context for this group, I'm sure we've discussed it in a past meeting, but my spend is our player activity and spend tracking dashboard that allows players to see their deposits and net wins and losses over various periods of time and across all of our different products. And as you can see, my spend is pretty consistently our most popular tool and fits in pretty well with our larger responsible gaming goals of communicating that, responsible gaming is a best practice for everyone, and we want to normalize responsible behaviors, whether that's just checking your budget and staying on top of your spend. We're trying to, normalize that and have people take even the little actions to make that more of a part of their routine. And so as we work to continue prioritizing growing our tool usage rates, one of our main goals remains kind of that normalizing responsible gaming and trying to drive awareness of the fact that it's not just for individuals who may be experiencing challenges with gambling. I'll stop there quickly to just see if there's any questions on this before we jump to the next slide.
Questions for Cam? I think we're good.
Great. We'll jump to the next one. So a lot on this slide. Kind of wanted to share a large overview of our RG program updates over the course of the last 6 or 7 months or so. We've continued to prioritize education and other responsible gaming awareness efforts. I'll start with introducing our new RG messaging campaign and tagline that we launched in January of 2026, Play with a Plan. We're really excited about this. It was an approach backed by some external research that we did in late 2025 that indicates that individuals tend to react more positively to a proactive and positive message as opposed to trying to frame responsible gaming as what not to do or what to avoid doing. So we think this play with the plan messaging, ties in very well with the goals that I referred to on the previous slide around, empowering customers to evaluate their own play and budget and what works for them, and also, continue normalizing use of responsible gaming tools for all individuals. So that was announced in January, and it was rolled out in tandem with our newest RG TV commercial, which is a national campaign that is kind of based on this slogan and shows customers taking a pause in the day to kind of evaluate their play and see what RG tools they should use based on how they engage with the platform. So happy to share a link to that for anyone who wants to watch it, but we've had positive reaction to that TVC campaign, so that's been great. On the My Spend front, as I mentioned earlier, we ran a My Spend sweepstakes in Q4 of 2025, which prompted individuals to check their My Spend and be entered for a chance to win a prize. I think it was a set of headphones this time around. again, My Spend kind of allows people to evaluate their activity on the app and then prompts use of other tools like deposit limits, et cetera. And this resulted in a record high monthly tool usage rates in December of 2025. The last thing I'll touch on as it relates to kind of RG tools specifically, in Q4, we took steps to automatically apply deposit alerts to all accounts for individuals under the age of 26. And so, a deposit alert, just for clarification, is a tool that sends a notification to the customer's screen when they surpass a certain amount deposited within a given month. The deposit alert that was auto-applied to U26 accounts is for $500, and this update was accompanied by an educational communication explaining sort of what and why the deposit alert was applied to their account, how it works, how they can adjust it, et cetera. And again, this was part of kind of our continued efforts to add additional protections in place for younger users of the application. As far as internal education goes, we rolled out a new employee training in Q4 of 2025, specifically for marketing. So any individuals who work on our marketing, brand, social, CRM teams, essentially anyone whose job is producing creative or content that advertises our product. We designed, in partnership with Epic Global Solutions, a marketing-specific training that was required for all of those individuals and focuses on things like language, imagery, or themes to avoid, and shares kind of like a desktop resource guide for individuals to consult on how to kind of responsibly advertise our products going forward. We also released a retail-specific training for individuals in our retail establishments around signs of problematic play and escalation processes. As for general awareness efforts, both on the RG and problem gambling space, we continued our work with The Comeback with our RG ambassador, Craig Carton, released another episode of that show in Q4. That was our most successful episode ever. It had 2,500 views on our YouTube channel, and are continuing to plan out episodes and guests on that show for 2026. That's a kind of problem gambling recovery focused show that tells stories of lived experience and then also highlights a specific resource each time around, whether that's something like mental health support or blocking software, et cetera. We also continued our work under the Trusted Voices brand, which is our parent, coach, and mentor education platform, featuring both some new blog posts around individuals' experience on that front, and then a responsible gifting campaign that we did around the holidays, which had posts on FanDuel's LinkedIn around, advising against giving things like scratch-offs or lottery tickets to young people as holiday gifts. Also on the Trusted Voices front, it's not on this slide, but we attended the Problem Gambling Network of Ohio's annual conference in February, and our responsible gaming ambassador, Randy Livingston, delivered a keynote presentation on the second day there. I'm not sure if anyone on the line was in attendance, but he did a great job kind of sharing his own personal story and his perspective on why youth prevention is so important, and the critical kind of education work that's being done around providing parents and other mentors with information on how to highlight the risks of gambling and where to turn for support. If there are no questions there, I think we can jump to the next slide. On Problem Gambling Awareness Month in March, for direct-to-customer messaging, we promoted the Cambridge Health Alliance's Gambling Disorder Screening Day, sending all customers a direct communication promoting a Cambridge gambling behavior screener tool, where they answered a few questions around their gambling behavior, and then they were prompted to resources like Cambridge and other support resources. We also had social media posts around the importance of Problem Gambling Awareness Month, which totaled over 25,000 video impressions on Twitter. And we published another episode of The Comeback featuring Sam DeMello from eVive, sharing his lived experience, and put out a problem gambling support article through FanDuel's press site, which highlighted the resources we promote, like Kindbridge, BetBlocker, which I know has been talked about a couple times on this call, and then various state-specific and national helplines as well. We also continued our annual support of both the National Council on Problem Gambling and the International Center on Responsible Gaming, furthering their prevention, support, and research missions. And then as for internal efforts, that's a big part of our PGAM approach is also educating our employees. We held two live sessions available to all employees where a couple of different Epic Global Solution lived experience presenters shared their stories and communicated the importance of understanding problem gambling and the impact that it can have. And we also had an educational webinar for all of our employees around the employee assistance program that we offer through Kindbridge, which is specifically related to gambling-related challenges for both individuals who work at FanDuel and their families. So just driving awareness of that and encouraging all of our employees to not just be thinking about our customers, but also thinking about themselves and anyone who may be experiencing struggles with gambling. So I'll stop there. See if there's any questions. Otherwise, thank you all for your time.
That's a good reminder. Questions, commissioners? All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
And that's it for the FanDuel presentation today. So thanks everyone for attention, and any questions, happy to follow up.
All right, commissioners, any questions for Ben or the team? Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thanks.
We appreciate it as always.
And the final presenters for today is Penn Sports Interactive, where you can find their presentation on page 108 of your packet. We'll have Adam Cates and Amanda Gaffney to present on their behalf, and we'll close us out for the day.
Thank you, Tom, and good afternoon, Chairman and Commissioners. Just give me a second and I will share my screen, hopefully with no difficulty. I think I might be sharing backwards. Oh, there we go. Okay. Great. All right. So starting with our revenue numbers for the first triennial reporting scope. So for the first triennial total for sports wagering revenue, we're reporting a little over 13 million, 2.7 million in taxes, and 158 million in handle. Next, moving on to our underage activity, we had 0 suspected underage or confirmed underage account usage with 12 underage registration attempts for the period. Moving into responsible gambling, we had 95 VSCs for the period with a monthly average of about 14. Regarding our timeout tools, we had 5.58% unique MA accounts using at least one RG tool and 0.6% using a timeout. These values are pretty consistent with the percentages we've previously reported in prior quarters. Moving on to our monthly unique players. So on average, during the period, we had about 17,000 unique users monthly. For our new tech partnerships, integration, and platform changes, our biggest one, if you may recall, is our rebrand to the Score Bet, which went live on December 1st. During the period, we also integrated with a new fraud service that provides consistent scoring across the customer life cycle, including registration, transactions, and sensitive account events. We also upgraded our debit card provider's legacy checkout flow to their newer platform, providing the same secure functionality for our users with updated interface and better supported product. Also introducing stronger fraud prevention and improved flow control capabilities in future releases. And last but not least, we have our community outreach. During October to April, we supported 2 organizations that serve Massachusetts communities, specifically in the areas around our Penn Game Studio offices in in Greenfield. The team participated in the Hot Chocolate Run to raise money for Safe Passage, which has helped thousands of families achieve safety, build justice, and rebuild their lives in the wake of domestic violence. We also ran a food drive for the Food Bank of Western Massachusetts, a nonprofit organization serving the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. Short and sweet, that's it for me. Any questions?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for keeping that very specific to Massachusetts. That was helpful in sorting out. Commissioners, questions for Amanda? Anything for Adam? Got to put you on the spot, Adam.
Wouldn't be a meeting without that, I guess.
All right.
It's good to see you, though.
Good to see you guys, too, and I hope it's a nice day in Toronto.
It's a bit rainy, but we're getting there. We're moving towards summer.
Nice. All right. Commissioners, anything else? Well, thank you again, Penn, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take this moment to thank Chief Teresi, as well as Tom, and everyone in the sports wagering division for pulling off this this first triennial report. And we appreciate it. It's a clapping hands. I don't know how to do that, Tom, but I support it. Anything, Chief Teresi, to add before we close out?
Nope, nothing else from me. Thank you very much. Great job, Tom.
All right. Commissioners, any commissioner updates? Any other business we hadn't thought about? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner.
Aye.
Commissioner Broder.
Yes.
And I vote yes, 5-0. Everyone have a great day, and we appreciate all the operators for coming in today.
Here.